Hola, hola, hola. Won't you come on over? I could teach you Spanish. Ooh, your boy can't stand it. Oye, mamacita, look so sabrosita. Run some lessons, ask me questions, then proceed.
Hey, Ramirez.
Yes, sir, Mr. Ryan.
How are we doing today, man?
Blessed and wonderful Monday it is, yes.
Awesome. Before we start getting into all it is that you have your hand in, where do you get your personality from, man? Like every time I've come into the shop and seen you, it's just like you just radiate positivity everywhere.
Thank you. It's really the tapping into how happy you wish to see yourself, so I think a lot of us spend a lot of time like worrying about how we feel rather than how we wish to feel. Like I think we all have these pain bodies, like we all have traumas,
Yeah.
and we all walk with them every day, and some of us don't know how to like contain them more than others.
Yeah.
I've been practicing for a really long time to contain all of that,
Yeah.
But I'm getting closer and closer to like defining it, which to me just means like I've found that the most happiest or like smiling people on earth have normally or typically gone like through the most horrible, horrific things on earth to force themselves to see, the light. So I'm gonna say like I force myself to be happy.
Okay.
I choose to be happy, because I've seen how it is to be that. And I've seen other people walk around in their days and mope around, and I never want to be like that. So I'm just conscious of my feelings and what I want as far as happiness. So I'm always smiling. I'm always just like projecting what I wish to see.
Yeah. Well, being conscious of that is huge, man. I mean, you don't really know sometimes how you're projecting yourself out to the world unless like somebody tells you. Like
Right.
somebody's like, "You all right?" Like, and you're like, "What are you talking about?" Like, "Oh, you look upset." And you're just like, "Damn, is my normal face upset?" Like, is that what's coming across?
And even on the flip side too, it's so crazy because like even when I started first being just happy, just not caring what other people, because most people like if they're sad they want you to be sad with them, right?
Yeah, misery loves company.
Exactly. So when I started just to turn my notch and just be happy, even then people would ask me the same question: Why are you so happy? Why are you always smiling?
Yeah.
Right? So I was like, okay, this is confirmation that what I'm doing is what I wish to see.
Oh, that's a great way to look at it,
That's the
man.
way the world wants to see me. They want to just view you for your traumas and they want you to just keep you there. Me,
Yeah.
I turn the traumas into empowerment, Instead of people being mad and, oh, well, this is what happened to me, this is why I deserve this. Like, you don't deserve nothing, like you are who you are and you work from there on up, and it's been an interesting, happy, positive journey to see both sides that both sides see, it's interesting, it's really cool.
Yeah, because when you see that person that's just completely like miffed that that you can be happy, it's like there's so much that goes into the way that they think they would feel if they were in the situation.
Right, exactly.
And they're just like, how can you be happy? Like it
When
almost.
all this is gonna
I wonder if it's because they think you don't care. I wonder if it comes along, like, if somebody knows some shitty things have happened to you in your life and they still see you smiling, they just look at that as like, oh, he just doesn't care.
I could definitely see that perspective or personality.
But it's like the opposite, though.
Exactly. It's the complete opposite. I can't justify that reason. I can, understand somebody's envy or jealousy towards something that I'm working towards or that I have or that they just see in me. Yeah, I can see that. For everybody, in the world. But I'm a very understanding person. I can put myself in different shoes and see that their perspective. But that I can justify that perspective? Nah, I can't. I mean, all I can say is that it's like an envious kind of thing, maybe.
You're above that.
Yeah. I can't stoop down to those kind of levels and entertain misery,
Yeah.
That's where I'm an entertainer, and sometimes that kind of company loves that.
Yeah, man. Are you willing to get into any of the stuff that you're kind of talking about, like some of the stuff from
Cool.
your past that you've had to reframe?
Yeah. Really cool.
Where do you want to start with that?
So I am the baby in the family, right?
Okay.
I'm the youngest in the family. I got an older brother, an older sister, and an older brother, and then I have my parents.
Mm-hmm.
My parents divorced when I was like in high school, and there's a lot of their traumas growing up that they projected into our family, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that was just like the start of, oh shit, this is life. Like, I gotta put up with other people's things and other people's problems, whether it be like alcoholism or any other kind of vices, I started to see all that kind of unveil in like middle school, so I kind of already knew, like, I foresaw the future. I foresaw like, this family's gonna be no more like in the next 2 years, so I have to gear myself to protect my future, because I knew that it was gonna come to a divorce. I knew that I was gonna have to pick sides. I knew that I was gonna have to do all these kind of things that I never encountered. I'm a 13-year-old thinking these things like, oh shit, like, I'm not gonna have a house in the next year. Like, I gotta make sure I find a path. We'll get there. My sister, by that time, she had already went off to college, so she was well off. My brother moved away and he opened his own business. So it was just, and then my dad got a restraining order at the house, and it was just me and my mom. And during that time, she was making the transition when she was going to move with her boyfriend. So it was my decision. I had to come to a decision. At like, this was like 18. Divorce cases take like 10 years if you've ever gone through, and if you've ever known anybody that's gone through, and not just like day to the next,
my
like
parents,
7+ years, So
parents did the
it's
same
a
thing.
horrific drag through everything. But I think in high school, finally they sold the house, and I had to make a decision whether to move to Mexico with my dad or to move to San Francisco with my mom, and I chose neither.
Damn, dude, that's a big gap.
So I chose to live in the back of my car in a couple friends' garages while I finished attaining my bachelor's degree from San Diego State University with full rides and scholarships. I owe no money, no debt, no nothing. So that's what I foresaw when I was like 13. I was like, all right, the only way that I'm able to achieve staying here in San Diego and choosing my future is if I get above a 3.0 average, so I get this Compact for Success scholarship to pay everything for me.
Holy shit, man.
So I excelled in my academics. I got my full ride, finished it within 4 years, and I was pushed back onto the streets. Still, living in like washing my clothes at friends' houses, taking showers at friends' houses, bird baths right here at the store and stuff. How do I say? I had it hard, I had it hard. I was, it was hard to make that transition, because it's like, okay, yeah, you got this bachelor's degree, you can go and do the exact same thing that everybody's doing.
Yeah.
Just use your bachelor's degree to get a job, to sit there in the Oval Office or in your cubicle office and do, the average thing. Yes, there's millions of things that you can do, but I chose to sacrifice that position because since I was a kid, I've always been pursuing music. And since my foundation fell apart, I had nowhere to make music. I was making music in the back of my car. My first full album I wrote in the back of my car. So I got the opportunity coming out of college to run this smoke shop that you see me at.
Yeah.
They knew I was intelligent. They knew I could handle a lot.
Yeah.
So I got the opportunity there, and since I've been there, I've been able to tap back into the music. Like I I caught back up with myself, you know, like all those years lost and like heartache and denial and disownment and then dealing with your regular life, you know, like your health and all these things.
Yeah, all this
you know?
stuff you're talking
So
about is just like family
that's just
kind of
that.
stuff.
That's just that. You know
Oh
what I'm
my
saying?
god.
You got all these other things to deal with. You got the
Yeah.
girlfriend, the friends, the dramas, the music that you're trying to get back to. People not believing that you can accomplish all these things. People just telling you what they wish that you could do if they were in your shoes, but they're not in your shoes, so they have no, you know,
Oh my gosh.
opinion to it. So
Yeah.
it was tough coming up with all that, especially like the whole family thing. Like that's just like you walk around and you see everybody with their dads, or you go to they have Thanksgivings, they have family reunions and shit, and you're just like, man, I have nothing, you know. So I changed my format of thinking like that, and to say, you know, like I can have everything if I work towards it. So I alienated myself, or I subliminated myself with music, just locked myself in a room, pumped out 2 other albums, and just kept my head like down on my paper now, you know, like, because again, if I look up at the world has all these problems.
Yes.
I'm just one person, you know. I can't fix everything. I can't fix my mom. I can't fix my dad. I can't fix anything. Like, truth down to the point. The only thing I can work on is myself, projecting what I wish other people could be like. I'm not telling people how to be, but
Yeah.
I know I wish you were happy, and I think like the world would be a better place. In just like that simple perspective, just because of everything that I've seen, I'm just kind of like, I'm over everybody's bullshit. I'm over everybody's things. Like, everybody has problems. Everybody has the same amount of hours in the day. It's just what you do with them. You know?
Yeah.
For me, that was what allowed me to exit that frame of mindset and time that I was just stuck in, you know, throughout those years. That was like the biggest thing. Now, like, things are turning around. You know, I'm more in contact with my brother. We share businesses.
Okay.
My sister, we're a little bit more in contact. My dad still, you know, he's super distraught from everything, super mad, super prideful, you know, like.
He's holding on to that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then my mom's pretty cool now. She's happy. She's up there with her boyfriend.
She's still up in San Francisco?
She got what she wanted, so I would expect her to be happy. My dad, I can't, you know, he's just like an old, burnt out dude, like. Quick funny story, you know, like I'm going to Guadalajara to pick up my engagement rings, I got them from my grandpa, and I'm at a taco stand, and I look over and I see my dad. I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
What?
Yeah, like
You hadn't planned that?
Yeah, to Mexico.
Oh my
Guadalajara,
gosh!
I'm eating tacos, and I'm like, hey man, like I think I know you, dude.
Oh
Like, I know
my
you.
god!
And he's just like. He just looks at me, he stares at me, he doesn't say anything. He's with his like cousin or brother-in-law, and he's like, dude, say hi to him, that's your son. Yeah, after that, you know, we chopped it up real quick.
Holy
but
shit,
it just goes
man.
to show like how prideful, like, you know, I don't want to put it on the Mexican culture, but this is the way my dad was. And yeah, I mean, sure enough, after that, you know, bought a 6-pack, went back to the pad, bullshit, just drink, and let him like, I let him release, you know. For me, it's just more information to, you know, get for myself to be like, okay, I know where I get this from, or I know why I'm like this, or now I have
Start
this.
connecting the dots.
Yeah, for
You're
me,
like,
it's just information to allow myself to grow and be like, all right, I know I never want to be like my dad, or I know I never want to be like this, or I know I never want to have this, or I know now where I get this. You know?
Yeah, it's so interesting when we like you get to a point where you can use your parents or your environment or whatever it is around you as like a compass and be like, do I want to go? Do I want to be like that? Do I want to be like this? Do I want to be like that? Because I mean, you know, a big thing that stops a lot of people from just doing anything is just worried about what other people are going to think or say. And just from the brief explanation that you were just talking about, there's people that are going to detract from you when you're doing bad, and there's going to be people that detract from you when you're doing good.
Right.
There's
that's right.
You will never please everyone.
Yeah, that's the That's the token right there, man.
Yeah.
And if I could add just anything for our listeners, if you're going through, an emotional time in your life, or just something super difficult that you can't see the light, or you can't see tomorrow, or you don't wish to see tomorrow, definitely just focus on bringing light to yourself and not bringing light to everybody else around you.
Mm-hmm.
I think the thing that really saved me from, like, and I'm not even joking, I'm free to say this everywhere I go, the thing that, like, saved me from, like, thoughts of suicide and things like that was just, like, focusing on how I could better myself, for myself, by myself. That's the secret. For myself, by myself, and, like, all by, like, that. There's one more I'm missing in there, but just make sure you're reading. Read books. Exercise. Play music. These are all things that I did. Go out to the beach. Sit down and meditate. Those are all, like, things that I can say saved my life. Like, music saved my life, first and foremost, because I've just been chasing to get back to her, like, and she takes really good care of me. The meditation is deep, find out why you're feeling a certain way, and get down to the root. Don't be afraid to, like, to figure out your truth, because, again, your truth is the only thing that will set you free and empower you and allow other people around you to feel empowered too. So again, just for the listeners out there, read, exercise, eat, and meditate. I promise you, those are the secrets, to life's happiness.
Yeah, and it's the right combination too for people. It's like, because you're going to gravitate towards, like, one of those more than anything else, potentially. But it's the combination of trying to find out what makes you you. That's the important part. There's so much to figuring out what the hell is going on inside your head before you can even think about helping anybody else. Like, so many people are going through life, and I've been there too, where it's just like, you got two people that don't have it remotely even close to figure it out. I don't think we ever will, but you're talking about different stages of life. You got two people that just really don't have a clue, but they're sitting there giving each other advice. And I've been there too, and it's just like, I look back at some of the things that, me and my friends were saying to each other. I'm like, man, that was like the blind leading the blind, It's like, you can't overextend all the time. Like, some people believe that the way to find happiness is to just help everyone. That's a gas tank that's going to run out eventually. If you're not good with yourself. Man, there's so much to just being good with yourself to be able to project out to the world.
Right.
Because that positivity that you radiate, man.
I say just do what your heart, asks of you. I think of, like, happiness, or, like, living your day, like, kind of like how Muhammad Ali said, like, they asked him, how do you want to be remembered? He said, I took 1 cup of happiness, 1 cup of gratitude. And he says just wonderful things, and a half teaspoon of this, and a this, and this, and that. And he says he mixes it all up in 1 cup, and he distributes it to everybody he meets. So it's like, the things, life is like, I think of it as a recipe. It's like food. Like, the things that, your ingredients are the things that you do throughout the day. That's what makes for your day to be a successful day. If you just wake up to go straight to work, to come back home straight to work, well, guess what? Your life just consists of work. Again, you have 24 hours in a day. You have gaps in between work. You have gaps during work, after work, before work. You have the chance to create a dank recipe.
Hell yes.
So start your morning off reading. Start your morning off with a jog. Start your morning off eating a dank ass breakfast. Set the attitude for the rest of the day. And again, what you do, you're gonna spread that to everybody you meet. If you just wake up and go straight to work, well, guess what? What does work entitle? grumpy other people, grumpy customers. You're not always getting the best customers, you know, and this is for every line of business. It just doesn't matter. Business is business, and that's just what it comes with. So really break it down to it. Are you just waking up to go to work to live that kind of life, or are you waking up to fulfill your heart's desires, you know?
Yeah.
If it's waking up and making passionate love to your wife before you go, well then so be it. You know, if it's waking up and doing, you know, taking your dog out for a jog, there's millions of things that prosper happiness, and we skip out on it. We skip out on it
because we're busy.
We're busy, or we gotta be somewhere. It's like, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But don't forget about yourself. You know,
Yeah.
because again, like you said, you're going to work for somebody else. You're not even doing it for yourself. You know, I think that's what we tend to miss. We're going straight for the bread instead of like it's a journey. It's not a race. You know, we're all racing to try to scramble all this money, and it's not about the money. It's really about the happiness.
Yeah.
And the people that have the most happiness have the most money, because people that don't have the money want to be as happy as them, and so they feed into that whole cycle. And it's just it's a draining cycle. You
Well,
know,
it's like
you can't catch up to that. You gotta catch up to your happiness to catch up with. And as far as I've seen.
Yeah,
You know,
and money's an enhancer. So it's
it's a
like
booster.
if you're an unhappy person that doesn't want to do good in the world, like all the money that you have means nothing because you're miserable.
Correct.
You know, and you can turn it around and have somebody that's like, oh, I want to go here and I want to donate to this and I want to donate to that, and it's just like you have those two aspects. Like, yeah, man, it's I did the thing you're talking about for a while, you know, getting up and going to work and working for somebody else, and I mean, it's hard not to do that at least at some point in your life, unless you have unless you have somebody that's like, hey, we've figured out how to not do what everybody else is doing, and this is exactly what you're going to do. You know, because that's the way our society's set up. You know, so it's trying to figure it out, man. At one point, one of the jobs I had when I worked for a bank, I was doing like a call center type thing where I would take calls from people, and people don't call in because they're happy. You know, people are calling in because they got something wrong and they want to talk and yell and all that other stuff. But it was like at the time, like when I first started there, I had split days off, and my shift was 12 to 9. So like one week I'd have like a Sunday and Thursday off. The next week I'd have like a Wednesday and Saturday off. And I was miserable because I would get home from work. I didn't have the mental capabilities at the time to differentiate between work and my real life. So I was carrying a lot of that shit with me at home, and I'd be up late stewing, just man, like fuck this, fuck that customer, like fuck, like just so pissed all the time. And then by the time I'd wake up the next day, it's like I'd have to scramble real quick to go back to work because I'd sleep until like fucking 11:30, you know. And I'm like, so that scenario you described, like I've been there, man. Like, and it's really like that, and you kind of just coast because all you're doing is working and sleeping, and the rest of the time you're upset.
Yeah, you're upset either at other people, and you're really upset at yourself, and you're just projecting all this kind of energy that could be converted into something, you know, useful and productive and for you and everybody else around you. Yeah, definitely, you know, it's I mean, it's part, you know, of this human experience. You have to work for somebody else. You have to start from somewhere, you know. And for me, as far as my experience, I used to work at Vans. I worked there for like 5 years, and for me, I've always had the capacity to run a business, I guess I'd say, you know, like I never, again, when I worked for somebody, it wasn't that I
You
wanted
said
to just
Vans or
Vans, yeah, the
What-
shoe store.
The shoe store.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was working for like 5
Nice.
years, man. I was like their stock lead, and they had me doing every position at the same pay, is what I would say.
Of course.
But you know,
They
that's
love
when you
doing that.
realize, you know, like wow, I have this kind of value. I have this kind of skill level
yeah.
that
You're like, I can do
I-
this and that
I'm not
and
getting.
that.
Yeah, and it's more of a conscious realization. I know they're not gonna be able to pay me what I'm worth.
Mm-hmm.
So then again, like my thing was like when I'm working, I'm not just working. I'm working to own. I'm working to like learn. I'm working to like be able to operate this somewhere else.
Mm.
You know, I'm not saying I'm gonna take the Vans and take off their logo and put my shirt down. Hint, hint,
Heyo.
hint, hint. But you know, I might just start up my own record label. You know, I might just start up DELSOLRECORDS
Yeah.
and be like, okay, look, you need a manager, you need sales associates, you need people in the back, you know, running the computers, you need people organizing, and that's basically how my mind worked. I was able to learn how to run somebody else's business and mimic that into what I wish to do.
Mm.
It's a big, you know, mental capacity to take, but for me, that's what I always saw as my exit route to, if it's financial freedom or just living the way that I want to live. And those are the decisions I made. I wanted to be my own boss. I didn't want people to be on top of me telling me what to do, like, if anything, I know how to do it better than the people on the top.
Yeah.
So I can't work in that kind of establishment. Why? Because I take my work seriously.
Mm.
I take it to the next step of wherever anybody else would do it. And that's just my work ethic. I
Okay.
work tough. So that's what it was for me. It was just like, okay, if they can do all this, well, I can do this in my own little hub. And that's what ended up happening. I just started, I got the opportunity. I got the opportunity to do it, and I jumped on it. So I manage everything here at the store, make all the orders. And that's how I like it. I like to make my work routine. If, you know, I want to take a break, you know, this time I want to take the break at that time. You know?
Hell yeah.
Why? Because I know how hard I work.
Yeah.
You know, nobody else is here to tell me how hard I work. So I know if I want to go to Puerto Vallarta and film a music video, I can do it.
Yeah.
You know, because I put in the work. I leave the work done.
Yeah.
You know, and when you're working for somebody else, there's always work for you. You can't
Oh,
go
yeah.
nowhere. What, you want to go to Puerto Vallarta? Sorry, sir, you can't. Oh, what, you want to go
Yeah.
to the Philippines for a month? Sorry, you can't go. You know what? When you come back, you're fired, or come back, you don't have a job. You know,
Yeah.
like I can't deal with that job insecurity.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so for me, it's like I have my own plan. I have my own route, and I'm gonna lead. This is the path most taken. I'm gonna go this way. I'm gonna create my own lane and bring people on this way. Show people, hey, like, this isn't the only form of life. And that's what it is. Most people are mad at themselves because this is just the way that life turned out. They didn't expect it to be like that.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm trying to do everything opposite, trying to show people that there's this new path of entrepreneurship that's happening, and it's really you putting in the work, you creating your work, you creating your hours, taking it freaking serious, and it's possible.
Yeah. And we're living in a time frame where that's actually attainable.
Yeah.
You know, it's
We are. This is the future.
Yeah.
This is the future. People are looking further and wishing further. No, this is the power of now. You know?
Yeah. I'm wondering through this technological time frame where it's so easy to connect, it's so easy to start your own thing without a brick and mortar. I'm wondering if small business is going to be the future.
Mm-hmm. I think so. I'm very excited, you know, like in my own path, and I'm very excited and like enthusiastic to show people like just what I'm doing, which is completely a risk factor and scare factor for everybody that's got the comfort living, you know, the paycheck, you go and you get your hand out. This is a completely different form of living. This is the future of this is how I always say it. I always explain it. If you feed a man a fish today, he's gonna come and ask for one tomorrow. If you teach a man how to build his rod,
Yeah.
he's not gonna ever come back. That's where we're at right now in this small business thing. People are realizing again, it's so easy to just set up a website, a couple little domain fees or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and you can already start making revenue online.
Yeah.
You know, so I think the small business thing is the future. I think it's inevitable.
Yeah.
You cannot. We see how society runs through corporations, and it doesn't benefit everybody. And that's why these corporations were
questions
built,
and
because
proceed in dressing. Hola,
small
hola,
business-
hola, bella, ¿cómo estás? How you doing? Nice to meet you. Wanna roll with us? Patience is a must. Practice is a plus. Get your pen work, get your paper, Sir Daniel, we trust.